Movie maker, nightmare creator, dream fabricator, horror cultivator. Anthony Caimano joins in on the attack. Indie filmmaker, picking up the slack. He's worked with first Jason and Freddy's mother, and soon a killer pizza with enough cheese to smother. There was much blood loss on his first fan film, directing Jason Voorhees. Survival looks grim, but there's more to this story, much more to learn, and that leaves the door open should he wanna return. His next nightmare is a butcher, the Flower City butcher. He's a brutal killing machine, he's no Ashton Kutcher, and then a movie thief, slashing through the best parodies, the icons, but it's not all in jest. The killer pizza is gonna be getting out of hand, dreamt up by a child, made real by this man. Forever entertainment proves it's more than a name, and today Anthony Caimano will tell you the same.
Welcome back, everybody, to Attack of the Spotlight. My name is John Horton.
And I am Kyle Pearson, and today we have a special guest who is busy with multiple projects all at the same time. We're going to get into every one of them. We're going to talk about some of the celebrities he's worked with. Anthony Caimano, thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate you taking the time. Actually, I don't even know how you have time to do this with all the stuff you've got going on. You've got Horror Hound Bites coming up pretty soon. You're still working on the Flower City Butcher. Where shall we start? Let's start with when was it that you thought, I'm going to take the chance and make a feature-length movie? When was that? What was the film? And take us through that process.
Okay, so I dabbled in with films for a while. At one point, I was loosely attached to somebody else's project, and there are a lot of great independent filmmakers out there, but this person in particular, I thought maybe could have did things differently. And I said, well, what if he did this, or what if he did that? And eventually I just thought, well, why not give it a shot, do it myself, and kind of put my money where my mouth is. Instead of just talking about it, I'll go out and do it. So I ended up making Friday the 13th Blood Loss. It's a feature-length fan film, Friday the 13th fan film, featuring a horror icon, Ari Lehman, who's the original Jason Voorhees, and BEATRICE, who was Amanda Krueger, Freddy Krueger's mom in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. They had some other great actors involved as well, but that was the first one that we kicked it off with.
And I, if I'm not mistaken, you're related to Beatrice, correct? She's your aunt?
She's not my aunt. No, I tell people she's my aunt.
Okay, I thought she was your aunt. I'm like, okay, well, that explains how you got her. So how did you get both her and Ari in your very first movie? How were you able to pull that off?
I reached out to Ari first. I talked to him about the film, about the crowdfunding campaign that we had at the time, the idea behind it, the character that I had planned out for him, which was originally meant to be a much bigger role in the film. And he was excited for it. I don't know why, but I don't think a lot of the Friday the 13th fan film filmmakers reach out to him. I think he has done them before, but he hasn't done, I don't think he's done another one recently. And so for me, it was a no-brainer, right? Why not get the original Jason Voorhees in the fan film? That just makes sense to me. So I reached out to him. He liked the idea, and that's it. He was down for it. Once I had him attached to the movie, kind of opened doors too. Some of the other celebrity horror icons were a little more open to working with me. They saw, Ari attached to it. So it's like, well, if he's attached to it and he's okay with it, then there must be something going on. And Beatrice was originally going to be some original character that we had in the movie. But we had another actress that was going to be Pamela. Things didn't work out with her. She had to drop out. And Beatrice was really interested in being Pamela. So it just kind of worked itself out. So she's Pamela Voorhees in the movie.
Now that surprises me because I thought, just as an assumption, I was thinking, wow, this is pretty mind blowing to have Freddy Krueger's mom also be Jason's mom, which I thought that was brilliance, and that was all just hey, I want to do it since that lady dropped out. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it just worked itself out. Yeah, definitely. If I knew it was going to work out that well, I probably wouldn't have done a fan film. I probably would have started with an original film, and but yeah, it was fun. I mean, I had a great time working with them both. If you guys want to know what it was like to work with them, or what, whatever questions
Yes,
you might
yeah, yeah,
have.
yeah. No, please, yeah, please tell us because yeah, we've been trying. We got Beatrice on the show, and we talked for like 2 hours with her and had a great time. I've tried Ari a couple different ways. He's on tour, I guess, with First
Yeah.
Jason, so I haven't been able to nail him down. But yeah, tell us what it was like working with him, and what was the thought process of not having the original Jason play Jason.
Okay, so so we've now worked with Ari 3 or 4 times, depending on how you look at it. So we had him in Blood Loss. We did the music video for Blood Loss, but that was all filmed at the same time. So if you count that, that's count that as one if you want. Then we filmed with him for the Flower City Butcher. So he's in that movie, and then we just did Foul Deeds, the music video for First Jason. So we've gotten to work with him a few times. Beatrice was Pamela Voorhees in Blood Loss. Then she is Madam Midnight in Horror Hound Bites. And then she plays another version, like a meta version of that character in Flower City Butcher. So she's going to be in the 3 films as well. But so the first time working with Ari was fun. We went to this bar in Buffalo. It's called, I think it's called Mohawk Palace. Super nice people that work there. I can never remember the name, but we went. It was Ari at the time. He had a couple different band members than the ones that are in the band now, but Bass Amp was with him, and Colin Feel. So Bass Amp and Colin were the bar patrons, and Ari was the bartender. It was super fun. He's fun to hang out with. He was early. He showed up before I did. I was actually late that day, so he was there. He knew all of his lines. He had already talked to the people that worked there and everything. He was good to go. I showed up. I was a little late. I asked him if we could change all the lines around. Hey, last minute thing, can we like switch everything? He's like, all right. And so he's pretty.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he was pretty cool about it though. He memorized the new lines super quick. We filmed for, I don't know, a few hours or something, and we had all of this stuff done. We did a music video on the spot. They had a stage there at the bar, so we did, I don't know, like 5 takes of them playing, and then we intercut that with the footage from Blood Loss. But he was fun to work with that day. Easygoing. He tells stories about what it was like to work on Friday the 13th and stuff. He'll say like, there were these paparazzi there, and they were looking for me, and I was behind a tree smoking doobies, and I looked out, I peeked my head out, and I saw them, and I don't think they saw me, and they got a picture of me standing there, and that's the picture they put in the paper. Little did they know I was smoking weed. So yeah, he has a lot of great stories about the director and working with Tom Savini and Adrian King and all that stuff. So that was my first experience working with him. And Beatrice, she was on set for Blood Loss at least twice. So we filmed a bunch of scenes with her. And then we ended up cutting a lot of the scenes. We had her come back and film a whole bunch of new scenes. And she was great. She's like, super easygoing. She's super, super funny in person. Like you might not always be able to tell what people are like, doing streaming or seeing them on Facebook and the things that they're writing and all that. But in person, hanging out with her and spending time with her and everything, she's actually really funny. We were out in the woods with Beatrice the first time she came. I think she showed up around 4 or 5 in the morning. And the second time she came, I think we filmed until about 5 in the morning. So it's myself, Beatrice, Christian Bester. We're all out in the woods. It's 3, 4, or 5 in the morning, getting all of her scenes done because we need nighttime and we only have her for so many days. So she's doing all that stuff. She's willing to do it. She's putting up with my crap. She's out there in the woods filming all these different scenes. And hey, what if we tried this? What if we tried that? We got to get her home eventually. So it's, she's been awesome. Then she decided to do Horror Hound Bites. All of her stuff for Horror Hound Bites was filmed like a while back. She's Madam Midnight in Horror Hound Bites. So she tells bedtime stories to kids. she's Freddy's mom. It's kind of, we thought it would be fun if she told like bedtime stories. So that's her
that's
character
cool.
for Horror Hound Bites, right? And then she's sort of the same character in the Flower City Butcher, but it's a little bit different. And all that stuff's remote. So she's Horror Hound Bites, Flower City Butcher. She films herself at home. She sends us the footage. We put it in the show, put it in the movie. But they're both, they've been great. So I can't say enough good things about them.
And you mentioned, correct me if I'm mistaken, Ari is going to play the same role that he played in Friday the 13th Blood Loss, correct?
So it's a little different. It's like a meta version of it. It's almost like if we kind of set up the Blood Loss version as like a test run, like, hey, what would this character be like? And we kind of changed it for Flower City Butcher, I guess. So it's not going to be the exact same, but it's sort of the same. It was it's like evolved, like a new version or a new take on that character. It's kind of what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
The reason why I guess I didn't use Ari as Jason was there are probably a few reasons. So one, when we started putting the script together, we didn't have we didn't have that exact version of Jason in mind. I guess we had like the typical, what people think of as Jason Voorhees with the hockey mask going around, machete slashing people. Yeah. And we could only keep Ari for so many days. So like around October, these guys are doing like, Ari's busy all year. So like you mentioned, like trying to get him on the podcast and stuff. He'll literally be filming on set one day, then the next day is at a convention, then the next day is doing a concert, then the next day it's like some signing somewhere at a GameStop in Arizona. It's like he's just like go, 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 go.
Yeah, and he was in a record store here in town. And I wanted to see him, and then I actually had to shoot a movie that day. And I'm like, are you kidding me? The one day I have something in like 6 months, and it's the day he's here. So, yeah, he seems like he's up for just about anything. That's why we're like, well, we should be able to get him on the show. But, yeah, because he's up for everything, he's doing everything.
Yeah, he's super busy. And he does do this stuff. It's just, everybody's always trying to get a hold of him too. Can you do my show? Can you do this? Can you do that? So it is, I mean, he's super busy. He stays super busy. He cares about his fans a lot. He honestly, I've seen him like interact with his fans and stuff. We did this. Well, I don't know how far off topic you want me to go here.
No, go. That's fine. Okay. We like to talk about things that you may not have talked about. We don't want to talk about the same things you talked on other podcasts. So yeah, if there's something, let us have it.
So like, they hired him to be at this convention here. It's called the Flower City Tattoo Convention. And it was like a few months after we had filmed his scenes for the Flower City Butcher. They hired him to be there as a guest. And he made it, without me knowing anything about it, he made it part of his deal that he wanted us to be at the convention with him. We got our own tables. These are $850 tables. So he had his own section totally to himself without us. And then next to him, we had our own booth with, 2 big tables. That was like, he made it part of his deal. He wanted us to be there so we can help promote the movie and everything.
That is awesome.
That is.
He's done a lot of cool stuff like that people probably don't, know about. Where it's like, he does do a lot for people. He cares about the projects that he's involved with. I saw him there with fans, they're coming, the guy's trying to go to the bathroom or something. People are walking by, hey, can I talk to you? And he spends a lot of time telling stories about Friday the 13th and like anything they want to know, we did the Foul Deeds music video. That was like Hamlet, but with a vampire twist. And that was all his idea, but he spent a lot of time talking to all the actors about Shakespeare and how important it is, and the theories behind the different stories and all this stuff. So, yeah, he's a pretty cool guy.
That is incredible. By the way, that Foul Deeds video is beautiful. It is very well shot. I mean, it's a very beautiful music video, and what I like about it is. One of the reasons why I didn't watch MTV when everybody else is watching MTV is most music videos is just the band doing band stuff. And it didn't really tell a story. That's why Thriller was such a big deal. You're like, okay, you can actually make a movie with one of these things, and that's what that is. and it's so well done, and his look already is so unique that it just I thought it was really well produced. So kudos to you and your wife Mandy for putting that together, because it's really well done. And
Thanks, man.
so then because now that explains the Flower Butcher title, Flower City Butcher title, because I was always wondering, like, I wonder where Flower City came from. So that's actually the city all this stuff takes place in real.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's very interesting. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew, but the Tom Savini students did the makeup on Foul Deeds.
Really?
I see that in the credits.
Yeah. So
I missed that.
Yeah, so we had Ari Lehman in the music video. He's the front man at first, Jason. Then we had the Tom Savini students doing the makeup, and then Harry Manfredini, who scored Friday the 13th, is the one that composed the track that's like in the beginning and the end. So like the score that you hear, that was Harry Manfredini, who scored the original Friday the 13th. So
wow,
we tried our best to tie it all together. We tried to get Savini too, but he was doing something else. I don't know.
Yeah. So walk us through the crowdfunding process itself, because you've had a few shots at it now. I know now with Indiegogo making some changes, a lot of people are either for it or against it. Seems like a lot of people are against it. What are your thoughts on it? And you've also done something that I haven't seen others do, and that's the contests. I've won a snow globe from you, a Scream mask from you. I think I won enough to purchase a hat. You not just do the perks, but you give people a reason to buy more perks because you can win more stuff. And I almost feel like I've gotten my money back in the amount of things I've won from you that I spent. So I'm like, well, how am I benefiting your movie in any way? I keep getting all this free stuff.
That got me in trouble because some of the people got more than what they donated for. And then I'm like, wait a second. I was supposed to raise money for the movie. Yeah. And then all the time it takes to pack it all and ship it all out and all that stuff. We just did literally just did a contest for the models, because we have Final Girl clothes too. And we have, I don't know, like 25 models for that right now. And we just did a contest where if they sold a shirt, I got free hats. The next 4 people to sell a shirt get a free hat. So now, I have to ship out free hats. So we do things like that all the time. I mean, Indiegogo in particular, they were bought out by another company a few months back, and they totally changed Indiegogo. I mean, it's completely different. The way it works behind the scenes, the way it works for the backers is totally different. It used to be you could just go on and whatever perk, if Kyle saw a t-shirt, you could buy the t-shirt. Then the next day he goes in, sees a hat, you could buy the hat. Then the next day he sees a DVD, you could buy the DVD. And it was easy to work with. It was easy to find all the perks and everything that people signed up for on my end. So when the other company took it over, they kind of wiped it out and they made it more like Kickstarter, which is like you're not paying for the money up front. I mean, you're not paying for whatever it is up front. You're like promising, like, hey, I'll pay for, a t-shirt or whatever. And when the campaign ends, then they take the money from you. But you can't just go in as a backer and buy whatever you want. It has to be set up by the campaigners ahead of time. So I have to go in and say, hey, if Kyle signs up for a t-shirt, then he can also add on a hat or add on a DVD or a poster. But it makes it more difficult when you have like acting roles involved, voice acting roles and all that stuff. So a lot of campaigns across the board, I think their numbers that they're showing on their campaigns are probably down from where they would have been like a year ago. And that's a big part of the reason why it's just a pain in the ass to use it, honestly. And there really is nothing like the way Indiegogo was. Everybody's like struggling to figure it out. Should we keep using Indiegogo? Should we use, there's like a Seed and Spark now. There's all these different ones that people are trying out, and none of them are the way that Indiegogo was like a year ago. Kickstarter is a good platform, but it operates the way I just explained, where it's a little bit more, there's a little more to it than there was before. What works best for me is I built, we have a website. It's scarezone.net. And I can literally put whatever I want to on there. You can go on there. It'll take you 2 seconds to sign up for a hat or whatever you want. I can put everything on there, not just one movie. I can have all the movies on there, the podcast, the clothing, everything. So that's what I think works best. But the people that are used to backing indie films are not used to doing things that way. They're looking forward to the crowdfunding platforms. That's what they're accustomed to. They want to see the numbers go up and like, oh, now they're at 3,000, 5,000, 10,000. They want to see that. It's exciting for them. So that's kind of like where we are right now with it. Indie, I've heard people say like crowdfunding's dead and stuff. It's not dead. It's definitely not dead. There's people raising big numbers. It may be a little bit different for independent filmmakers, but crowdfunding in general is definitely not dead. And there's still a lot of opportunities for us filmmakers to raise money through those platforms. I just think being able to supplement that with something like your own website is going to benefit most people if they're able to do it, willing to put in the time to make the website and that sort of thing.
No, that makes sense, because I know, like some filmmakers are literally making the movie while the funding's happening. And if they're not getting the money until after the funding's over, then they don't have the money to use. Plus, if they miss their mark, then they just spent all that money and then they're not going to see a dime. So that was actually another question I was going to ask, because you had mentioned, or at least it was teased at the end of Friday the 13th that there was going to be a Friday the 13th Dead Lake. And then I think you've changed the Facebook, so now that's Dead Lake. So I assume you're going to make that film. Is that still on? And if so, it seems now that you can make money from Flower City Butcher and Killer Pizza, why would you want to go back to a franchise that you officially can't make money from?
Well, that's kind of where we are right now. Like, I'm not in a hurry to go back out into the woods and to make another fan film, to be honest. That Blood Loss was my least favorite experience filming overall. There were a lot of good things that came from it. I met a lot of good people, but being out in the woods, it's hot out. I'm getting chewed up by bugs. We're running around this campground. It was just a lot of work. And, we had like a skeleton crew the whole time. So I was literally up like 22 hours a day. I had raccoon eyes, like my eyes were black. I was sick the whole time, just trying to do everything and get it all done.
I heard you also had a issue with lights collapsing or something. Beatrice mentioned something about one night, all of a sudden, all the lights collapse at the same time.
Yeah, so we have the one she was talking about is an LED light. So they have these other, I don't know how much you guys know about lights, but they have tungsten lights, which is what the big studios used to use and probably still use a lot of them. Those things are dangerous. They get super, super hot. You can easily burn yourself, or they blow up all the time. The lights that we have are not like that at all. They're super safe. But yeah, she was I forget the exact story, but she was around the actually, I think she was at one of the campsites we were getting ready to film, and one of the lights had fallen over, and she was like, "Oh, it's the Krueger curse. Like, he doesn't want me here doing this. Like, he's mad at me. I have a new son now," and all this stuff. But yeah, she another thing that happened was she had her feet by the fire pit, and it melted her shoe. So she's like, "Oh, he doesn't want me to make this movie."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, she was saying that kind of looked like Freddy's skin after it had melted. So that was it was like people see like Jesus in the cookie, but she saw Freddy in her shoe. Everybody has their own point of view. So yeah, I can see why you're not wanting to race out. And I shot a movie in the woods, and I got so many bites all over me. And then the movie was never made. And it's a nightmare going out somewhere where you're really not wanted.
Yeah, and just like you said, like we spent all that time making that movie, and I can't put it on like any streaming platforms. I can't really sell merchandise or anything. Like the stuff that we had offered was money that was put into the production of the film. But now that it's been made, I can't really go around making money off of Jason Voorhees merchandise. You know, like I don't own Jason Voorhees, Pamela, Camp Crystal Lake, the Christies, and all that stuff. So it is a lot better to just go out and make original films, for me at least, because then, you know, we own the IP and we can do whatever we want, and I don't have to worry about somebody getting upset. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be in a rush to go out and make it. We left the door open, like, hey, you know, what if we made this one? It could be, you know, Dead Lake. It'll be the same thing, but darker, maybe higher production. You know, if we can raise more, you know, more money this time, or raise the money a little bit quicker so we can get the thing made. But I'm not in a rush to go out and make it. And I don't think Mandy is, and I don't think Christian is. Like, I think we're all like, you know, what else can we do at this point, you know?
Yeah. Christian, by the way, he won an award, didn't he? Or at least a couple for his portrayal in Blood Loss?
Yeah.
There was a lot of awards you guys won, actually.
Yeah. Christian won 2 awards for Best Actor, and these are all first place. Like, we did get a couple second and third place ones. They call those like honorable mention, outstanding achievement. It's different at every festival, but Christian won 2 first place things for Best Actor. Beatrice won 1 for Best Actress. Mandy and I won 2 of them for Best Director. She won 1 for Best Makeup. We won Best Feature Film, Best International Feature Film. So yeah, we did okay. And so now our goal with the Flower City Butcher is to get it into bigger festivals. So that would be like the next step. Like, hey, can we get this, even if we're not taking first place in the, you know, the bigger festivals, can we at least get seen and get our stuff shown? And, you know, a lot of them might not want fan films. Some of them don't want horror movies and things like that. I mean, the bigger ones have like major films with like multi-million-dollar budgets and all that stuff. So if they're even like, you know, if we're even close to getting, you know, seen or whatever, that's a much bigger deal for us at this point than getting like first place at, you know, one of the smaller festivals. But it was nice at the time, at least, to have some sort of recognition, and people went like, oh, good job, and, you know, they pat you on the back. But we're trying to move up the ladder at this point. So
I can see why you make a fan film, because especially if you're entering it, if the first movie you made was the Flower City Butcher and nobody knows who you are, you kind of get overlooked. You see Friday the 13th in the title, people are going to pay attention to you, and then that's a good springboard into your future projects. It's when I see fan films and it's the parts 2 and parts 3 and parts 4, I'm like, you know, you're doing a pretty good job. You're just not making any money. So yeah. Although, I say that, and John and I are spending money to be in movies and all these crowdfunders. So I guess, we're talking about not making money, and we're turning around and spending it. So I guess it's the fun of it. I mean, it's really what we all enjoy doing, and you just do it however you can. What do you think also in respect to the crowdfunding? Because, and I don't know when, you know, like Indiegogo and all those started, but I know over the time they're getting more popular and more people, not just even, you know, you can put a watch on crowdfunder. Yeah. Right. But it's got to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger, which I would assume is also contributing to maybe lesser numbers in certain areas, just because if I want to crowdfund a movie, there's so many to crowdfund. What's your take on the saturation level right now of crowdfunded films?
I mean, I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I think the people that donate to so typically it's not just random people that are popping up and donating to the campaigns. Like I guess that could be the case a little bit, but mostly it's people that are already looking into acting. They kind of get to know the different communities behind the scenes and things. A lot of our backers are, people that want to be a part of all of our stuff or a lot of our projects. So I'm not worried about them, like, you know, I'm not worried about it being oversaturated. I think for us personally, a lot of our backers are going to come back again to work on, They worked on Blood Loss. Loretta Chambers was on Blood Loss. Then she was in Foul Deeds, Horror Hound Bites. She'll be in Killer Pizza. Then when we're done with that, she'll come back to do something else. Jack Dunnan, Blood Loss, Flower City Butcher, Foul Deeds, Horror Hound Bites, Killer Pizza. Mark Brubaker, Horror Hound Bites, Killer Pizza, Flower City Butcher. It's like we get a lot of the same people back. And so I don't think it's a matter of being oversaturated. I actually think that people want more. So I think what they do is, even people that like donate to campaigns, and then they say like, they're kind of tapped out. If they see another campaign that they really like, they're going to go donate to it, whether it's another campaign from me or somebody else. They're going to go, oh, and I don't want to miss out on that. I think a lot of people are trying to do, everyone's different, but I think a lot of people are trying to like get lucky and be a part of like the next Terrifier. Like they want, $100 for a credit, but if it ends up being the next Terrifier, then I can tell everybody I produced the next, whatever the next big thing is. So I think, I don't know. I think there's room for everybody though. I don't think it's oversaturated. I think my answer is probably a little bit convoluted, but I don't think it's oversaturated.
I agree with you completely. Oh, John, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, because I'm the same. When we were doing the episode, we were talking about the crowdfunders. We were tallying up how much money we have spent, and it's way more. It definitely was more than I thought, because I don't just buy into a movie. I have to have the shirt and the hat and the Blu-ray, because I want to see it. I want to help market it. I share, stuff as we go along. And and I was the same way. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going to do another one. And then another one pops up. I'm like, well, that one's reasonable. Or, that's a sequel to something I really like. So, okay, maybe I'll jump into that one. And it's addictive. Because I was doing, I did a lot of extra work for big budget movies and TV shows. I was doing Independence Day, Resurgence, Better Call Saul, 1923. And I never got a line. And John comes over here and says, hey, you do this line. And I'm like, okay. So then I was a background line. And then yours was great, because I'm like, oh, I get to say a line and I'm the only one on freaking camera. This is me. And you gave me a great part. I'm like the cranky old guy, and from the first one almost. They're like, okay, I'm warning you, don't go out there. And that was a great opportunity. And I'm like, okay, I've sampled this. Plus, one of my favorite things I own is this poster right here, like my character poster that you guys made me for Friday the 13th Blood Loss.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
I love that thing. And, it's just starring. So I told people, I'm like, okay, fair. I'm in it for like 17 seconons. so I'm not the star of this movie, but damn it.
You got twice as much screen time as Ari did in the first one.
There you go. There you go. So I love this poster. And that's another one. I got to meet Ari because he's on it. Beatrice is on it. I got to get them to sign it. So that is one of my prized possessions, and no one else has ever even offered that as a perk. And that was a cool perk. You guys come up with some really original stuff to do this stuff. And I mean, you guys are on it. I mean, it's
Thanks,
I've gotten more alerts from you guys on these things, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing it. I'm like, okay, because I don't know what you're going to have me doing Killer Pizza, but I'm very excited for it. My job reduced my hours by 60% a few weeks ago, so I'm being a little bit more reserved financially. But yeah, what you guys are doing and giving people the opportunity to take part in movies that they would not normally get the opportunity to do is fantastic. And I told somebody else before that I don't think they were even in the movie. I think their name was in the credits. They paid for a credit, and there's a video of them on YouTube holding up the DVD, and the guy's in tears because his name is in a horror movie, and this is what he's wanted his whole life. And you guys really touch people.
Thanks, man.
with this opportunity. So kudos to you, kudos to your wife, and also kudos to your daughter, who is responsible for Killer Pizza. Tell us how that came about and her involvement in this whole thing and starting the process.
So she was about 10. It was before, I want to say before we had even filmed Blood Loss. She said, hey, why don't we make a movie about a killer pizza? And Mandy started putting the script together. And a lot of the characters in the movie and the things that happen around the characters to an extent are based off of Mandy's family members, like the lead.
Oh, really?
Like the main actress in the movie is named after her mom. The killer pizza, who's Tom Glenn. Tom Glenn was Kringle in Creepshow. He's doing the killer pizza in the movie. So you'll see Tom, and then he voices the killer pizza. But his name in the movie is Tony, and everything is Tony's Pizza, and people assume it's named after me, but it's not. It's named after Mandy's dad. Her dad was Tony, so that's why it's all Tony's Pizza. And the delivery boy in the movie is based off of Mandy's son, and so like all these different characters and things are all based around Mandy's family members. But it's about a guy who owns a pizza shop. He owes some money to the mob, and he ends up not surviving one of the nights, and he comes back as a killer pizza. And the delivery boy goes out, and they get revenge on the mobsters.
Oh, really?
Now, I probably shouldn't say this.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't throw this out there.
Yeah,
but how cool would it be if you by chance had the pizza man meet up with a gingerbread man voiced by Hughes? Just a little cameo part.
Yeah. So Mandy, who knows? I don't know. And this one, it's definitely, I love the Ginger Dead Man movies and the Evil Bong and all the full moon stuff and all that. But we're trying to take this one in a different direction. So I don't know if it would line up for right now, but never say never. Maybe they'll let us use the Ginger Dead Man movie. You can make a cameo somewhere, or who knows? I don't know.
There's a lot of versus movies out there, so you make enough sequels to it, there's going to be one eventually.
Right?
Someone's going to buy out somebody else, and it's all going to happen. And that starts filming in August, correct?
That's going to start filming this summer. Yeah, probably August. But we're not going to complete. I don't think we're going to complete the movie in August. That's not the plan right now. So we're going to start filming. But it's a big movie with a lot of different people involved, different locations, and all these different things. So it's going to take us a little while to film it. I just, I'm trying to be as clear as possible. We're going to start this summer, but I don't think it's going to be a 2-week thing. We're doing Movie Thief, which we haven't gotten to yet. That's going to be a 2-week thing. Killer Pizza is a bigger project with more moving pieces. The pizza itself is an animatronic too. I don't know if you knew that. So we have to operate.
That's going to be my next question.
Yeah, there's no CGI or anything no AI. It's all practical. We have Walter Phelan, who's attached to the movie. He was Dr. Satan in House of 1,000 Corpses, but he's actually like an award-winning FX artist. He's worked on Thor, The Mandalorian, The Avengers, Ahsoka, and all these other. I didn't
know that. Holy cow!
Yeah. And he's either acted in or did FX on tons and tons of Leprechaun 2, Wishmaster, From Dusk Till Dawn, Little Nicky, Charmed, X-Files, Goosebumps. It just keeps going on and on and on. But he's he knows about all that stuff. So if there's anything where we need him to operate the puppet, or if we have any questions, hey, what if we made it this way? We kind of have him to lean on a little bit. But there's just a lot of different stuff with that one that isn't. Wouldn't even come close to being the same as Blood Loss. I don't have to worry about animatronics and Blood Loss or anything like that, which is was a whole other thing. How do I make a freaking animatronic puppet? I don't know anything about that. And that, I had to learn about servo motors and all these things. It's,
wow.
It's pretty, it's a lot different. We had to make Mandy. Mandy's made the puppet she's on her third different puppet now. So she's been going live on TikTok and making this the updated version of the puppet. Yeah, it's a lot different from the other one. The other one, all I had to do was I hand painted a costume for Jason. I painted the mask. I didn't even paint the machete. Mandy did. So all I had to do was paint the costume. That was it.
well, even because well, definitely take your time, because we wanted it to look as good as possible, because we know how difficult that can be. And before we started this episode, we were talking to Anthony about our show originally when it was in the spotlight and when we were in high school. We actually had the opportunity to interview Tom Sullivan from the Evil Dead franchise, and he brought on all these props, and one of them was this armature for the Necronomicon. And my favorite line from the entire 45-minute interview is, they didn't shoot it right. So he had this whole thing in his mind. He had all this stuff. He was talking about how it worked and all this. And still, he was not happy with the way of the end result, because he's like, once it got into the filmmaking, the other people's hands, it was out of his. And, it's one of those things, I'm sure every time that he sees it, it's going to just eat away at him. So if you've got full control over it, do what you got to do to make it work, or it's going to be something that's going to nag at you for, the next 30, 40 years of your life. So we want to see it, because I got involved with this early on, last year, and I really want to see this movie and, shoot my scene, but I want it, I want you to do it right. I want you to take your time, and get it done, I want it to look beautiful. Every movie we get, we're rooting for. And not every movie is going to come out the way people expect. Most likely, I'm assuming they're not going to be exactly what, anyone wants it. George Lucas, for God's sakes, changed Star Wars how many freaking times. So in the meantime, you've got Movie Thief. Tell us about that.
Movie Thief is a horror parody. It's about a group of filmmakers that are working on a film. It's not turning out the way that they wanted it to. And at the same time, there's a character in the fictional universe that's going around from movie to movies, changing the scenes in the movies. It's kind of making himself the star of the movie. And all these changes that he's having in the fictional world start to have an effect on what's happening in reality. So now these filmmakers have to go stop the movie thief and save their movie from being destroyed. So right now we have Logan Hickey attached to that, Temper Levine, Joshua Alyssa Swain, Lorelei Sands, and a bunch of other great actors. Jack Donan's back. Donan, he'll get mad at me if I don't say his name right. Jack Donan, Loretta Chambers, Ivory Sphinx. This will be Ivory's debut movie. So we have a lot of great up-and-coming actors that are attached to that one. It's mostly, people that are either just getting started or have a few credits. So we're trying to push like the next generation in the movie and find places for them to kind of shine more than they did in either our previous projects or other things that they've done. But it's shooting in June. We plan on about 2 weeks doing the whole thing and having it, all the filming done. Then we're going to edit and we'll have it out before people know.
How involved? Because I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say that's a very interesting concept. Where did that idea come from?
It kind of evolved. So originally it was going to be the movie is going to be meta, where it's like, not quite breaking the fourth wall, but you can kind of see where the inspiration comes from. Originally it was going to lean farther into like real life events. And I kind of drew that back and I said, well, we have to develop these characters. We might as well make it a real movie. Originally, it was going to be very slapstick, like scary movie, like joke. And instead of doing that, I thought if we're going to take the time to do it and spend money on it and all this stuff, we might as well try to, do it right and then get it out there so it's not like another blood loss sitting on YouTube or something like that. It's just another opportunity for us to kind of make a movie, get it out there. Hopefully it helps these actors that are involved and that's it.
What was the reasoning for doing this one now and not doing Killer Pizza now?
Killer Pizza, just because of the filming schedule and needing more time to get some of the things ready behind the scenes. We actually just got a new pizza location. So we had one that we found a while back, and we were all set to film there. And the guy kind of just disappeared. He was like a new owner. It was a pizza place that had been around for a while, but the guy was like, had just purchased it. And I made sure hey, are you definitely going to have this place in a couple months? Cause we're going to start filming. And oh yeah, I'll be here. And then he kind of disappeared, and it was like, shit.
Oh,
all right.
wow.
So, yes, but we've had another one now for a few weeks. I think I'm losing track of time, but a few weeks, I think. And it's a much better location. Honestly, it's like 10 minutes away from me, but there's way more space to shoot scenes inside and everything. So, that's kind of it. I know that Killer Pizza is going to be a much bigger project with more people involved, and it's going to take time. Where I felt like this one I could probably get done in a couple of weeks and get it out there, and it'll give people something to enjoy while we get the other stuff done. But
yeah, and I'm not giving away any spoilers. This is on the crowdfunding page. There is going to be a Jason Voorhees type character and a Michael Myers type character and a Art the Clown type character. How much of the movie is going to feature the parodies of these characters? Or is it going to be kind of like a quick, like the Scary Movie 6 bus scene at the beginning where you see all of them and then you get into the actual movie? How much are we going to see of those characters? Or can you not tell me that? I don't want to.
So, if we use Jason, Jason as an example, you wouldn't see Jason Voorhees in the way that people are thinking. We're walking a fine line with the parody thing. If we go too far, then it becomes like a fan film, right? Like I can't capitalize off Jason Voorhees and Art the Clown and that sort of thing. So it has to be a true parody to those characters. So for the people that are watching, I just want them to know, like, hey, look, if you're looking for exactly Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, we can't do that. I don't own those characters, but it will be important to the plot of the story. Each of the sort of parodies would have different amounts of screen time. So some of them are, might be a quick thing where it's like, cuts from one to the next, or, some of them are more involved, more important to the story. But each one's different, but they are, I just want to reemphasize, restate that they are, parodies, true parodies for the people that are confused about that too. So.
Yeah, there is such a fine line between fan film and a different company and different writers and different directors making a sequel to, they have the rights, but nobody that participated in the original is in the new one. And so it's like a fan film that just happened to get the rights to do so. And it's just funny, how that's really all it is. Who, if you got the rights, you're basically still making a fan film. I've always thought that was funny, and I'm surprised because there was a time when you couldn't actually make a fan film. You tried to make the fan film, and so all the Paramount would be jumping out of the closet and say, "Hey, don't touch Friday the 13th at all. You can't." And now. Are they just allowing it now, or is the rules, the laws changed? How does that work? How, because when you approach something this, you're going to spend a lot of money. You want to make sure you can actually put it on YouTube without a problem.
Yeah. So the laws haven't changed. It's just some of the franchises seem to be more open about fan films than others. So, for example, you won't see a lot of Star Trek fan films because they're strict about it. I mean, people have actually made the things, and then they get like cease and desist letters. They have to take the thing down. But Star Wars, it's like everybody makes freaking lightsaber video and puts it on YouTube, and they don't bug them. Friday the 13th at least seemed to be open to fan films because we'd see, Never Hike Alone and The Vengeance and all those ones came out. So it was like, well, they seem to be pretty accepting of it. Now, I wonder if part of that had to do with the owners of the franchise. They were in court at the time, trying to determine who owned what. So maybe that was part of it too. Nobody could really say, "Hey, stop doing this," because they didn't know. They weren't sure if they could do it either. You know, I don't know, but the laws haven't changed. But you know, like Scary Movie, they used the ghost face mask, right? But when they went to make the Scream MTV series show, they couldn't use that mask because they didn't have the rights to it, even though it was an official Scream franchise. Yeah, that's why they used the new mask. They updated the mask. They're going to sell it to you like, oh, it's the new improved thing, but they didn't have the rights to use the mask at the time. So the company Fun World had the mask, and you have to license it from them. Wow. So Scary, and the other thing about Scary Movie is that it was it was made by Dimension, who made Scream or whatever. So it was like the same company made it, but they still had to license the mask from Fun World. I would also suspect that that's why we didn't see Ghostface in Scary Movie 2. They probably couldn't get the rights back to the mask at the time, because it was like, hey, we put him in this joke movie, but then the thing ended up selling 1 million freaking masks. So now Fun World's like, yeah, we'll give you the license. Like, yeah, go make Scary Movie 6 and 7 and 8 and whatever's going to make us money, you know? But yeah, it's definitely a fine line. And with parodies, if you don't have the rights, like I don't own the rights to Art the Clown, so I can't really do a true Art the Clown parody, even if I wanted to, because I don't own that IP. So instead I have to do a parody based on the clown sort of, whatever's going on with clown movies at the time. So instead of saying, here's, I cannot have the Art the Clown prosthetics, the shape of his face exactly the same. The makeup can't be exactly, the same. So it has to be a true parody. We sell it as like, hey, the Art the Clown. But I've even changed a lot of the stuff on the campaign, just because I know people don't fully understand. I don't want to confuse anyone. So, the people that have signed up for the roles, I've reached out and talked to them, and hey, just so you know, it is a true parody. It's not, we don't own Art the Clown. I'd love to do an Art the Clown parody, but I don't own the character. I don't have a license for that character or Jason Voorhees or Freddy or any of that stuff. So it has to be a true parody based on those kinds of movies. We can't do the exact same thing. But no, the laws haven't changed. It's just, some, as far as fan films go, some of the properties seem to be okay with it. Others don't. Friday the 13th, in my opinion, for most of them, I think the fan films, when they're done right, it creates this community of fans that are there to support the franchise. And I don't think it's going to, especially for Friday the 13th, the last movie came out in 2009. We're going on 2027 soon. So, almost 20 years since the last movie came out. At least like Never Hike Alone and those guys are doing a great job. They're keeping it alive, keeping people interested in the characters. And, I don't see it as a bad thing.
I saw, because I own them, the DVDs for all of the Friday the 13th. And each one of them, if I'm not mistaken, had what appeared to be a fan film on them. And I don't know if they bought somebody's fan film and put it on there or what it was, but I'm like, this is definitely not an official Friday the 13th movie, but every single installment had one. Yeah. And so, for all we know, Blood Loss could end up on a box set for Friday the 13th, because again, like you're saying, there hasn't been anything new. They keep releasing the same stuff over and over again. They need some material and say, hey, here's a whole disc full of fan films. And
beautiful.
Yeah. And in to be realistic, yours fits the reality basis of the Friday the 13th better than some of the actual sequels do.
Thank you.
You don't have something coming out of his mouth going into different bodies or telekinesis, because I like to be a part of the whole damn thing. And the fact that Friday the 13th Blood Loss is a fan film of Friday the 13th, but it incorporates other horror franchises in it. So I've, in my mind, got this whole world I'm like, okay, this is part of the whole Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, whatever world. And he even mocked me and made a little graphic of me with all these lines connecting everything. And to me, Friday the 13th, blood loss is what connects them all. So I'm going to make this thing, and I'm going to release this. Okay, this is how you should watch all of these, and this is the movie that makes them all work.
Thanks. I think if we had a bigger budget, more resources and things, we could have did the movie, a little bit better, with a lot of the things. But I think the idea was there. It was just we're limited time, limited money. A lot of the actors was their first time acting. I'm setting up lights and making sure the audio is right and operating the camera and directing. And, somehow I have to have the next scene set up before we get there. It was a lot of work for Mandy and I. Mandy was doing a million different things too. She was directing, doing the makeup, doing all the props. I mean, it was, I wish that we had more time to do it the right way. If anyone's out there and they want us for the next official, reach out. It's if we did another Friday the 13th, I would definitely want a bigger budget than what we had for Blood Loss, because it was too much, and we were stressing pretty bad. So as far as it connecting all the movies, I guess it does connect kind of Jason Goes to Hell, the Necronomicon. It was originally, we didn't have Deadites in it originally, so they're in Blood Loss, but it was actually supposed to be Freddy was going to be in the movie. So the girl that's dead, she's like, the John seeing the ghost of the girl. That was originally supposed to be a younger girl, and it would have been one of the jump rope girls that was, always.
Oh, really?
In Elm Street movies. So
that's clever.
Yeah, we just I was gonna like film myself. You wouldn't see like full Freddy. You would just get like, hint that it was Freddy at the end of the movie. But so we did a wax cover. So normally with like prosthetics, you would like mold the face, bake prosthetics and all that stuff. We were trying to find easier ways to do it without spending a ton of time putting Freddy together for these shots. So we did like a wax, like candle wax. And so like one day I had my whole face covered in candle wax that looked like, burnt skin. But wow. It took forever to do it. And because we were out in the woods, it would have been super difficult to keep melting the wax to put it on. So we ended up scrapping it. It would have taken like 10 hours to just, do the makeup and kind of like get the shot and everything. And we just didn't have the time to do that. So we literally rewrote everything like the last second. We're like, oh, well, what if we make them Deadites and this is a ghost and it's the girl? And yeah, it was a lot. So if we went back to do it again, we would definitely want more money. We'd be able to know that we could do certain things ahead of time and get it done the way that we imagined it, or at least a little bit closer and all that stuff. But we enjoyed making it. We had a successful premiere, went to the festivals, we won those awards, so we're good. We're happy. We got footage for Christian and stuff. He ended up going on. He was in the woods with us one week. We got like some test shots of him as John Hawthorne. He's out in the woods with like his plastic gun and all that stuff. Freeze, and we put a demo reel together and he used that to get an agent. And then like 2 weeks later, he was on the Oxygen channel. They hired him to do a reenactment for a serial killer. And he literally just started acting. Like he was in the woods with somebody else. And then like the next week he was with us. While he was on set with us, he had to leave to go do something else, like for some other indie person. Then he came back to finish the shots with us. Then like 2 weeks later or something, he was on the Oxygen channel. Then he was back with us to finish filming. Then he went and he got a speaking role in Law and Order. My God,
no kidding. That is fantastic.
Yeah. This is Kyle's dream.
Yeah, I'm doing it all wrong, apparently.
all you got to do is come out in the woods with us.
Yeah, there we go. Well, the thing was, I actually got casted. I'd done one voice work on something, and the guy liked it so well, he cast me to be in a lead role in his next movie, and unfortunately, he passed away. Before we actually were shooting the first shot, and he had an accident and he passed away. So I was that close to, it was nice to be recognized for my work enough to be chosen, even if the movie never got made. But yeah, that is something that when you hear about that, always makes me feel good that yeah, somebody made it. You know, they took the steps they needed, and they got where they're going. Plus the fact that I know you could look at Friday the 13th Blood Loss and say, okay, I could have done this, I could have done that. I'm sure if you had more budget, you would have done those changes, and then I was like, well, for a little bit more money, I could have kept. There's always more you could do.
Always more, right?
But one thing that you've done that John and I have not is you completed a movie. You set out to do it, and you made it, and we keep talking about it, and we're still doing podcasts.
We will sit back, and we may. Some of the lesser movies out there, the lesser independent movies, we may make fun of them. We may bash them a little bit. We may talk some shit about them, Balloon Shark. But at the end of the day, they have lived the fight. They've done it. We're just sitting on our ass over here, so they're steps above us.
Yeah, and
it's honestly a lot of work. I mean, we do. I mean, like we had people auditioning. We had to look through like thousands of audition tapes. We had like 25 kids that were between, say, like 5 and 15 in the movie, but we had to go through all these auditions. All the boys did a scene from the Goonies. It's up there. It's their time. Down here, it's our time. We sat through all those. All the girls did Wizard of Oz, and you were there. And so we're doing all that stuff. Then we're doing table reads leading up to it. So it's like we'll do one-on-one table reads, we'll do group table reads. There's just so much stuff that goes into it. It's a lot of work. But I mean, Kyle, now that you have some more time away from work, it could be your chance to kind of audition, network more, find something that works for you. I mean, they're literally some people get worried about being too old and stuff too. They're like, oh, nobody wants. I don't know how old you are, but there have been women that are like, nobody wants like a 60-year-old woman, and it's like no, they have agencies that only want men and women that are 55 and older because that's what they specialize in, and they want. And oh, you need a dad for this scene. Here he is. You need grandma. So like these people are looking for everybody.
They might not be looking for you to do the same role you may have done, but there's other roles for those exact same people. I remember a little show called Golden Girls or Grumpy Old Men. But both of those I'm a huge fan of both of those. And it's, you get older. You go to the next tier. But yeah, now that I've got free time, I got to get my wife. Right now, my wife's expecting a lot of housework done. But as soon as I get over that, I want to take this time and definitely try to get into more stuff because I loved it. Doing that thing for you was fantastic. I've done some other stuff, voice work. I've tried to do a little of everything. I did a background, I did a foreground, I did a remote thing. I went on a set. I love it all. And even when I'm not doing anything, watching everybody work and pull stuff together. I remember the very first scene I was doing, I was a stand-in, actually, my first role, and watching everybody just move the camera to the other side. And everything on that side now had to be moved out of the way, and they had to replace everything on the other side. And, a mile a minute. And that was with a huge crew of people. And you figure, an independent movie, there's just a few of you out there. And, the star of the movie is probably also moving stuff where that may not be the case in the big budget ones. And everyone's lending a hand. And that's actually, it's fear of not being able to complete it. John and I would probably do it, but, I've been in too many roles. I've been in radio, I've been in television, local TV type stuff. And you see, even with a crew of people, how many things don't get completed. And it seems so risky and so hard. I'm like that, it's almost, I've gotten to, 20 years ago, maybe. maybe I would do what you're doing. Now I'm like, okay, I'm going to let you do what you're doing, and I'll try to ride on your coattails for, a scene or two, because I'll let you deal with all the stress and the heartache, and I'll show up and say a line or two. And
yeah, but it's not riding on my coattails. We're in it together. I can't do it without your support either. So it's like we're in it together. We have similar goals. We both want the movie to be successful. And I just don't want to forget this thought. But you were saying your wife needs a lot of work done around the house and stuff. But the good thing about that is that a lot of the auditions now are all done, remotely. You film yourself, there's self tapes, and then you submit. And if I don't know what kind of footage you have right now. If you don't have a demo reel yet, you could do self tapes and use that until you get something. There's just so many different things that you could do now. I think we started mentioning Indiegogo before, where it's like, all the opportunities that are out there now. It's like that didn't exist when I was like 16 and I just started getting into it. I literally reached out to somebody on Craigslist. It's somebody that you guys would that you would probably have heard of, and it was like, this was like a long time ago, and Actors Access and Backstage and Indiegogo and Kickstarter and all this stuff just wasn't around. Facebook was barely a thing, now it's like there's so many different opportunities to get involved. Even if you end up in like some crappy movie, it's like those were hard to find back then. Like, at least now you can find them and like try it, see what it's like. And I mean there's just so much to do. But yeah, it is a lot of work. I'd love to have you on set too, because I think you would probably do a great job. I honestly do. If you were able to make it to set or whatever. And if you decide that's something you want to try, let me know. We'll figure something out together. There are people that split Airbnbs and all kinds of things. You save money. We have a guy that, works for one of the big hotel chains. If I needed to, maybe I can get you a discount on a hotel or something,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's so.
Well, thank you.
I don't know.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Seriously, if it's a dream of yours, I mean, I want you to do it. Like come be a part of what we have going on. And you'll meet good people. Like, the people that are on our sets all get along. They're all good people. Most of them, like I said, come back there and keep coming back. They were with Blood Loss, Foul Deeds, Killer Pizza, Horror. I'm trying to count all the projects. 5. They're probably, most of them are probably in about 3 or 4 out of the 5 projects.
You're also, besides the fact that you're directing movies and doing all these things, you're also doing another thing that is almost impossible, and you seem to be pulling it off. You are co-directing with your wife. You're not only you're working with your wife, you both are making decisions on the exact same projects. How does that dynamic work? Do you just say yes, dear, and just let her do whatever she wants? How does that happen?
It's a little bit different on each project because we do different things on each one. So for Blood Loss, we co-wrote, co-directed. For Killer Pizza, she's writing that. I'm not writing that at all. And she's going to do a lot of the directing, whereas I'm doing other stuff. She'll do the makeup. I'm doing the camera work. So it's a little bit separate, So there is a lot of us working together. Sometimes it's tough, we have to come up with decisions. It's like, I thought we were going to do it this way. No, we have to do it that way. Did I shoot this the wrong way? I have to go back and redo it. I don't have time. All right, let's go do it. But for most of the projects, we're doing different things. So, I mean, Horror Hound Bites, I'm a puppet character in the show, and that's it. I'm not writing. I'm not directing. I'm not editing. That's the other thing is I edit all of our stuff. She's editing Horror Hound Bites, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm editing the Flower City Butcher right now. That's the other one we haven't really gotten to talk about, but yeah, so it's there are going to be struggles, but we get through it. We enjoy at the end of the day making movies, and the people that we have on set with us are great, so it makes things a lot easier too.
Yeah, well, that helps. I worked in the same department as my wife for a while, but we were on different floors. And that's probably what saved us because I think if we were any
That's what
closer,
we're doing too. We're on different
uh,
floors. That's all.
there you go. Okay, that's the key.
Yeah, no, no, there is overlap with a lot of the stuff. We're also like the script supervisors, so it's like we're constantly checking in with each other. Like, is this how it's supposed to be, and does this make sense for the other scene that we did? And yeah, so there are times where it's like making films isn't easy. You're gonna have stressful things that come up, but you just try your best to work together and get through it. It happens on every set, I'm sure.
What has been the one challenge the biggest challenge? Because I know you've talked about lights falling over and losing locations. What has been the biggest challenge through all of this that you've had to face?
And I mean this, I want to keep things as positive as I can, but a lot of it has to do with people that are either their heart's not in the right place. So they decided to sign up to get involved with the movie, but didn't have any intention of actually like doing it for the right reasons, or people that don't have anything to do with the projects that are just it seems like they're out to just stir up the bag a little bit. That is honestly navigating things off screen is the most difficult thing. Behind the scenes, away from the set, that's the hard part. Once you get to set, it's like, okay, now I have control of the camera, the lights, the audio, and I might not always be able to do things the way I want to, but there's a lot more that I can control once we're actually in the production and making things. Like I said, most of the people that work with us are pretty easygoing. They're helpful. They're friendly. They want the best possible outcome because they want a movie that they can be proud of and say they're in it, or their kids are in it, or whatever. They want to have a successful premiere where it looks like they're the stars, their kids are the stars. And so most of the people that get involved with us really want the projects to succeed. It's just, sometimes people don't see eye to eye, and that's the most difficult part, in all honesty.
Yeah, I think it's just that's the problem in any job where you have people that just don't have the same thought on how this job is going to be done. It's just that when you're working on a movie, it's probably a little bit more of a public situation where people, a lot more people are following what you're doing than what I'm doing trying to market a vascular clinic. And I might have disagreements with my people. Nobody cares. But you're working on a film, so everyone's like, okay, what's going on? One thing I did want to bring up, and correct me if I'm wrong, on yours, but in a lot of movies, they'll say, okay, you get to, for this amount of money, you get to be an associate producer or an executive producer. That's title only. You're not saying, hey, you're going to be able to come on set and tell me how to make this movie. You're saying, you're going to have your name right here in the credits, big and bold, so you can tell people I'm an executive producer, but you're not giving them control of the movie. That's correct, right?
So most of the people just want the credit. They want to be able to help out with a few bucks here and there. Here's a few bucks. Thank you so much, for the credit. And whatever they want to tell people beyond that, I try to back them most of the time, as long as they're not saying like Anthony didn't do anything, I had to do everything. If somebody, like, if John signed up for a credit today, and then, in a week from now, it's like, hey, I heard John's the producer of Killer Pizza. I'm like, yeah, of course he is. Like I'm going to back up whatever it is. But if there is anyone that wants to be more involved, I try to get them involved. Hey, if you want to come to set and kind of, most people, a lot of them have never been on a set, so it's like, hey, if you want to come be a part of it, see how things are done, help out behind the scenes, we give you guys credit for everything you do. Or if you sign up for one credit and you end up doing something different, I'll upgrade the credit for you. But typically, no, there's no like producer, like I'm the producer, Mandy's the producer. There's nobody else coming to set and saying like, not like a studio or anything like that. Like, hey, you have to do it this way. If the actors, like Christian Bester, if he's like, hey, what if we tried this or did that? Then like I listen, I respect his opinion. I'm gonna, take it into consideration. 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna try whatever it is because it doesn't hurt. And if we have investors that are, good to us and they say, hey, what about this or that? Of course I'm going to take it into consideration, but we don't have anybody coming to set and like demanding that I do anything a certain way or else, they're going to come down on me and take their money back or anything. It's mostly most of the people that donate, they want the project to succeed. They want it to look good because their name's going to be on it. And whether they tell me how to do it or don't tell me how to do it, it's going to say executive producer Jeremy Hirsch, Patricia Rolfe, and so they want the movie to turn out the right way, but Jeremy's not going to come to set and say like, Anthony, you got to do it this way, or it's just
Well, I was wondering because I think there was one time I did see somebody on Facebook, they bought a park, and they said, well, I can't wait to pull it. They made it sound like they were really going to take control, and I'm like, I don't think that's what exactly you bought, but okay. And I'm like, maybe they do, but I'm associate producer on I think 3 films, and I haven't made decision 1. I got my name up there. I'm happy, but yeah, I didn't really expect to be making any decisions. I made a decision once on whether a button should be buttoned or unbuttoned. That was my 2 cents worth. So yeah, if you're involved in that and you think you're going to be, you want to buy a park thinking you're going to have more control, you might want to message the director first just to make sure you're getting what you think you're getting.
Yeah, not just with us, with anybody. I actually have seen projects where they kind of have done things that way, but they end up butting heads on set. The person, and but I paid money for it. It should be my decision, but that's not how these things get made. Wow. So, for me, that's not how we do things. Again, if you're one of my friends, you're on set with us, you're one of the actors that we've worked with. I try to listen to everybody, like even the actors, like I don't care what they spend, if it's, a couple $100 or whatever, they're on set. They're like, hey, what if we did this? Normally what I'll do is like, I'll know how I want it done. And I'll say, hey, why don't we try it both ways? Like, let's do it my way. And then after that, I know I'll have that shot. Then it's like, then let's also do it again, but we'll do it your way this time. That way, once we get to post-production, we'll have both options. We can just pick the best one later on. I try my best to take care of, everybody. But as far as coming to like buying a producer credit for $500 or $1,000 and coming to set and being like, I'm going to run the movie, it's just not going to work. It's not going to end up the way anybody wants it to. And most of the people, if they're buying in like that, they're not going to really know what's going on most of the time anyway, in all honesty. Some of them, of course, have more experience, but most of the time it's not going to work out that way. So
no one's demanded that they send you the dailies.
Nope, nobody ever has. No, one person, 2 people did try to take like, a lot of credit for some of the stuff that was going on, but they did it in a way that was like, Anthony doesn't know what he's doing. It was all me. And I'm like, wait a minute, this guy was on set for a day. We had to ask him to leave. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like if John, again, just using John as an example, but if he signs up for a credit today and somebody calls me, and says, hey, John Horton, is he the producer of Killer Pizza? I'm gonna be like, yeah, he's the producer. He's a great guy. He's helped out a ton. And it's not really anyone else's business, like what he did, how involved he was or not. I'm just going to try to give him the best recommendation possible. Right. The only problem is when people try to say like, oh no, Anthony doesn't know what he's doing. Anthony didn't do this right. I had to correct Anthony. It's like, dude, I'm giving you all the credit in the world. You don't have to throw me under the bus, like I'm, and it's going to look way better if I'm there, telling people like, oh yeah, John, he was awesome. He was, we loved working with him. That's the way to go. Not, just, that's my whole thing. Kyle, whatever credits you have, I'm going to tell people Kyle's the best guy ever. He had me on his podcast, helped us promote the movie. I try to give everybody as much as much praise as I can. Especially when you sign up for our campaigns, you're helping us get the things made. I can't get it made without the donations and the support from backers. So I appreciate it a lot. So if anyone comes to me and says, how's Kyle? How's John? How's the next? Amazing. I'm grateful. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. That's how it should be. It shouldn't be the sort of thing where people are trying to take advantage of each other or any of that. You know how it is.
Yeah. That was something right off the bat that I learned. I think when him and I were taking a TV and radio production class, and I remember on this one thing, I was basically taking credit for the whole thing. And I didn't do the whole thing, but it was being submitted to something as my project. And one of the girl who did the camera is like, "Hey, where's my credit?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." it's a bizarre situation. I'm like, because any other time other than that, if somebody, says, "Hey, say this instead of that," I'm like, okay, put them down as a writer, because they did one line, but they should get credit for that, because that might be the best line in the damn thing. So yeah, we're always been really good about wanting to give credit to everybody that is involved.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody's coming and sweeping up after us, they deserve credit, because we needed somebody to sweep up after us. Yeah. And that is a job. Every job is necessary to make a movie done. And we've mentioned it on previous episodes. Some actors get harassed because they may have bought on and like, well, you're not a real actor because you paid to do it. And that I'll be the first to admit, yes, I've bought my way on. I'm not, a real actor, so to speak. But I'm also providing money by doing that for you to be able to hire Ari Lehman and BEATRICE properly. Like, okay, it is my funds for my small part for you to be able to afford the bigger names to get people in the door or to start streaming your stuff. So don't let anybody knock you down. You're doing your part to make these movies work just as much as anybody else. So
all of the actors spend money on acting. The people that have a problem with they call it pay to play and all this. I hate the term, because all of the actors are spending money. Headshots cost money. Demo reels cost money. You get a job, you're giving your agent, your manager money. You're traveling, paying for travel expenses and food and wardrobe and all this stuff. Especially when you're starting out, you're taking acting classes, acting workshops. It is freaking insane. Christian got headshots taken, and he had like a few different looks. How much do you think he spent on it? I'm going to tell you. Don't tell him I told you. Hopefully he won't see this.
I can't even imagine.
Hazard a guess.
$2,500 for headshots.
Holy cow.
Good Lord.
For pictures of his head. Right? So it's like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. And then he's taking workshops, acting classes. He's on vacation with his family, and he gets a call from his manager and like, hey, they need you on set tomorrow. He's got to leave his family on vacation and then drive to whatever state to go be on set.
That's actually one. I think that's one benefit, because I've done extra work on like a couple dozen things. And they actually don't want professional headshots. They want you to take your own shot. You just have to do it over a bare background with no hats and no glasses. And they specifically asked that in the instructions. Do not send me a professional headshot. We want to see what you look like naturally, because you're in the background. You're supposed to blend in. You're not supposed to stand out. And maybe that is just what I'm made for. Just be further in the background, the blurred out guy, next to the star. But I never imagined it was be $2,500.
We're in the wrong line of work.
Holy
just
cow.
For the headshots. And then I mean, you have to get, he's paying for demo reels, not the footage. He's paying somebody to like put the demo reel together. He's got to pay, if it's something where he's out of town or whatever, he's got to pay for his travel to get the set. Mm-hmm. There's so many different factors. I mean, the workshops he does, he's doing like real workshops. So where it's like you go and you audition in front of casting directors that are actively casting for like big projects. And so he gets to audition in front of them and stuff. but it costs a lot of money. So even if it's like $1,000 for an acting role, like our custom roles for Movie Thief right now are $4.99, which you're not going to beat that. You know, you get on set, it's a custom role, speaking lines. You have the opportunity to get some footage and get some demo reel footage together. Or you spend money on headshots. The casting websites, they all cost money. You got to sign up for a thing. If you're, you know, you put a video up that's a minute long, if you want 2 minutes of footage, it's going to cost you another $50 a month or whatever. You know, it's like and all that stuff builds up. It all costs money. So to get involved with Indiegogo or something like that, if it's people that you want to work with, and if you're just starting out or looking at your resume, or if you're somebody that used to act and then you got out of it, now you're back and you need to get your foot back in the door, that's a great way to do it, because you don't have to worry about forking over thousands of dollars to get started. At least, you know, you could just maybe you get a custom role, you get yourself to set. We always have food on set for the cast, so you don't have to worry about eating while you're there. And then you have the opportunity to network a little bit and kind of get your stuff together and grow. So there's nothing wrong with the joining through Indiegogo, whether it's with us or somebody else. You know, just try to pick people that you think are going to benefit you. You know, I think if you're just starting out or just coming back, a big thing that you want more than being in a movie with some famous actor, I think what you really need is the like professional looking demo reel footage, which is like what I'm always preaching to people, because that's what you're going to use to get the jobs that you actually want to get, that are going to pay you to be in the show. Law and Order, FBI, you know, Christian did FBI Most Wanted, Love Story. Now he's doing some other thing. And then he auditions for all these big shows now. And it's like, he's trying to climb his way up, but you know, it's, there's a lot that goes into it. You have to have skill. You have to be motivated and dedicated and committed to it and all that stuff. But, you know, definitely having these other things, the demo reel and all that as you go along is going to help. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is all the actors are going to spend money. It's just, you know, how are you spending the money? Where are you spending the money? You know, I was just telling somebody, like, you know, Ryan Reynolds does Deadpool. Deadpool's got this like multi-million-dollar budget, but Ryan Reynolds is, I bet you, is putting millions of dollars into the project because he wants the advertising. He wants it to get out there. He wants it to be a huge success. The same thing with Jared Leto. People keep seeing Jared Leto in these movies. They're like, another Jared Leto movie? Like, well, you know, who keeps casting this guy? And it's like, he's producing the movie. You know, he has his own production company, so he's putting movies. Like, if I honestly had to guess, he's putting money into like He-Man, you know, and that's how he's involved. He's putting so much of his own money into the project. He wants it to be a success. He wants to be Jared Leto, the star. And he wants the movie he wants to make money off the returns and all that. So it's like, you know, you're going to not spend money, invest money, right? It's just, it's up to you on how you end up doing it. But everyone's going to do it. The ones that don't are usually maybe some people get lucky for a little bit. You know, they're like, oh, I didn't have to do it because I did. Most of them are lying when they say that, but you know, maybe a few of them sneak by for a little bit. But then, like, you can tell, like, you know, like, okay, well, they've been in these projects, but you're watching them on screen. You're like, but they can't really act. Like, you know, it's like it's going to catch up. Yeah. So, you know, everyone's journey is going to be different, but you're going to want to, most people are definitely going to want to invest in themselves.
Yeah. So you've got the Horror Hound, you've got Flower City Butcher, Killer Pizza. What else do you have on the horizon, or are you just worried about focusing on these ones for now?
So Blood Loss is out. It's been out for a while now. It just passed the 50,000 views on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
We have done, there's no paid views. There's no, like, we've barely advertised the movie being on YouTube because I'm so busy with other stuff. Just once in a while, I'll say, like, hey, thanks for the views. But it's there for anyone that wants to see it. The Flower City Butcher, Mandy and I do all the editing for that. It's the first cut's pretty much done. So, like, any day now, Mandy and I are going to watch that, see how it looks, see if there's anything missing. If I had to guess from what I can tell, like from what I'm seeing in the footage, I think we could probably release it as it is. And I think most people would be fine with it. Oh, good job, you know? But I wanted to do something more with it. So we'll probably go back, do some pickup shots, maybe film a couple additional scenes just to try to make it as good as it can be. We want to get it out there and try to get an audience for it. That was a weird one because we went to film, and that's when Mandy got sick. They had to take her to the ER. They said if she stayed on set, she could die. It was like a whole thing. Cow. She couldn't talk for a day, and she couldn't walk for 3 days. They had to have a physical therapist come to work with her at the hospital. She was in the neurology center and all that stuff. So she was having seizures and all kinds of things. It was pretty rough. So
how's she doing now? I wanted to ask, but at the same time, I didn't want to bring it up. So I'm glad you did.
Yeah, you guys can ask.
How is she doing? Because I know every once in a while it seems like she's doing absolutely fine, and you're working on something, and you put up another alert that she's something's happened. How is she right now?
So Mandy is she has congestive heart failure. She has Hashimoto's disease, which is she has issues with her thyroid. She has functional neurological disorders, so she has tremors with her hands. She gets this like fight or flight thing where she thinks flight or fight, where it's like, if something's kind of wrong, like if the house is a little messy or something, she kind of wants to like take off. So I have to kind of like, bring her outside and get her some fresh air and stuff. She was having seizures for a while, and that's on top of ulcerative colitis. She's mostly deaf. She doesn't hear out of one ear at all. The other ear, she hears out of a little bit. She doesn't see that well. She walks with a cane. She can barely walk. So Mandy always has, health issues. She's always going to. When you see her online, a lot of times you can't tell exactly what's going on. She's able to kind of like spruce herself up long enough to be on camera. So if that's all you see, you're like, oh, she looks fine. But a lot of these people that are on set with us have seen her in person and stuff. They know how she is. I have to help her walk, get from A to B and all that. So she's always going to have health issues. But we work through it. She goes to specialists, functional neurological disorder specialist, physical therapy. She was doing land therapy. Then she was doing aquatic therapy where they put you in a pool. Then she's back to land. It's just one thing after the next, honestly. But it's a day-to-day thing. She's been doing bad. She's been in a lot of pain. But it's just something that we try our best to work through and I try to get her out of the house all the time and try to make the best of things. Take her to the movies, take her to the zoo, take her to the museum. I try to keep it going and try to keep her happy. So, we work through it. We're getting there. She's having fun right now. Horror Hound Bites comes out next month. So the first episode's coming out in May. She's having a fun time working with all the people on that. She's doing all the editing and stuff. So that's keeping her busy. She's been working on the pizza for Killer Pizza, so that's keeping her busy. Movie Thief is we're shooting in June. We're going to go for a couple weeks, probably at the end of June, like the last weekend around that time. Get that whole thing shot in about probably under 2 weeks, like 10 days, 10 or 12 days. And that's kind of, we're just giving ourselves that limit. Like, okay, this is the time that we have. The Flower City Butcher, it took a lot longer than we intended with that, everything going on and all that. And, we know that Killer Pizza is coming up, and that's going to be like the big project that we have to focus on. So it's, we're excited to work on it and kind of get things rolling. Flower City Butcher's looking good, though. We had some great people in that one. Christian's in that. Beatrice, Ari, Michaela Lecoq, who was in Blood Loss, Temper Levine, Meadow Doherty. A lot of nice people. We'll just get that one out. So that we're having the premiere around October or November. So we're on track for that right now. Horror Hound Bites, like I said, the first episode's coming out in May. So that was the one that was like really delayed. We were having problems behind the scenes with that, but now it's finally back on track and coming out. So thank God. And then
speaking of the premieres, when you did the Friday the 13th one, you guys were in tuxes and all dressed. I mean, it was it was the real deal. You had the photo wall and everything. Yeah. I was sitting there like, damn it, I should have flew there. I should have gone because it was the real deal.
So we did we tried our best with it. I mean, the tickets, we sold them at $100 a ticket, and it was almost sold out. There were like a few seats open up top, and that was it. We did raffles. We did I think we had like 13 baskets or something like that, but they were, one was like a big Scream basket, so it had all Scream merchandise. One was like a wine basket, and we did like all these cool raffles. We gave away a giant TV. This girl that was in the movie, she's like 6. She was like 6 or something. She's a real small, tiny girl. Ended up winning the TV. She came up. She tried to carry the TV away on her own. Yeah, we did a Q&A. We were on the stage, just let people ask, whatever they wanted. We had merchandise. We had like posters, autographed machetes from the cast, and things like that people could buy. And afterwards, we went to Dave and Buster's, and we just played games with everybody. A lot of the people that were there with their kids and stuff. So we just wanted something cool, very family friendly. We got dinner, we played games and hung out for a while and stuff. So we'll probably do something similar to that with the Flower City Butcher, and then I would assume with Killer Pizza as well. We'll end up doing the same thing. So.
Well, we look forward to all of them. We wish you the very best on every one of these, because I know how much work, and our thoughts, prayers, the whole thing for your wife. I had neurosurgery myself several years ago. I could barely talk for a long period of time. I was on so much medication.
It's rough.
I was like this. I couldn't keep my arms straight. And I did things that I there's a huge period of my life I can't remember, but I vividly remember dreams that I had as if they were real. And so anybody that's having any kind of neurological thing, people might say like, oh, but unless you're experiencing it from a firsthand thing, you don't necessarily realize how serious your mind can screw with you. And mine was just a little nerve. It was just a nerve. Mine was one little nerve that was sandwiched between a couple blood vessels, and it made me have the experience that I was being stabbed and electrocuted in my face over and over and over. And if you give me the slightest touch here, it would feel like I'd feel it being stabbed and electrocuted right here. And I couldn't even walk into the frickin' breeze. It would, and it was awful. And I know your wife is experiencing something different, but again, it's neurological stuff is very rough. And you don't know, you could be perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden you are down for the count for an undetermined amount of time. So I wish her the very best. I recommend the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix. They were the ones, they saved my life, literally saved my life. Whatever it takes for her, we wish her the very, very best. And to your daughter, I hope you're going to see your movie on the big screen sometime soon, because you get to experience something that we all only dreamed about as kids. We all had dreams of things that we was like, this would make a good movie. We didn't have parents that were actually going to make it a movie. That's a big deal. That's a really freaking big deal.
We try our best. She was there for the Blood Loss premiere. That was, it was fun for her too. She was all dressed up. I mean, we had a good time with that. Flowers, the Flowers City Butcher, we could probably release as it is, but we just wanted to go and try to do a little bit more with it, since it's an original project. Movie Thief is going to be a 2-week thing, and then Killer Pizza is going to take a while to film. So we're starting this summer, but it's going to be, we have a ton of people involved and all kinds of different perks they sign up for. Logo in the movie, shirt in the movie, song in the movie, picture in the movie. There's just so much to, so many different things to factor in, but I'm excited for it. I think everybody's gonna have fun filming, for the people that are coming to set. I think it should be a good time. A lot of them have been waiting long enough to get there. I think they'll be excited to finally be on set and like shooting the thing. But everything's looking good so far. Flower City Butcher is on track to come out, or at least have her premiere around October, November. Movie Thief, I have no idea yet, to be honest. We plan on filming in June, but how long will it take to edit and stuff with filming Killer Pizza around the same time. It's like we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, everything is looking good to start filming this summer for Killer Pizza. We just got that new shop here. It's way better than the last one too. I'm glad we ran into this one. There's just so much more room and different areas to film there and stuff. So it should be, and the guys that own the place are super nice. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of different moving pieces with that movie. I mean, that has Nancy Ann Ritter from Scream. It has Al Burke from The Wedding Singer. Very nice. Yeah, so it should be fun. Should be fun.
Well, everything that we've discussed, we'll have links to in the description. Also on our YouTube page, we actually just kind of launched that one, and where I've just created some playlists. So like the Foul Deeds video is our first under music, and we've got the full length movies section, and that has all of Friday the 13th Blood Loss, so you can check that out. So we're helping promote it wherever we can. But yeah, we're gonna have the links in the descriptions for all these. The movies that aren't coming out that have crowdfunding will direct you directly to those crowdfunders. So if you want to get to be a part of them, whether you want to be in it or you just want a poster or a shirt from it or the Blu-ray to see it, you can take part now and get everything pre-ordered, and you can get cool stuff like this. Mine's extra cool because it says cast member on it. So it shows that I'm, look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
And if for the people out there that can't donate, like we know that not everybody has the extra, income. Just help out by sharing the campaigns or sharing the website. That we appreciate it a lot. Or if you just see us on Facebook, give our post a like or something. It all helps. It all counts towards something. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate this. We know you're super busy with all these productions. Can't wait to see the final film, and I can't wait to see what my part's going to be in Killer Pizza. Do to me whatever you want. I'll figure it out, and I will do damn near anything.
Kyle, come to set. You should seriously consider coming to set at some point. Like
I might.
If it's a money thing, we'll figure something out. We'll find some way to get you involved. That way you can actually come be a part of it, and get your feet wet again. I think it sounds like it's been a while since you've been on set acting, right?
Yeah, I haven't done it. It's been a while, and then the last time I did it's when everything went horribly wrong. I'm ready to jump back on the saddle again.
I think you'd like it. I think you'd enjoy acting, but also the people that we have around. I think you would being able to see them in person and be able to spend time with them and stuff. I think you'd enjoy it. And if there's a way I can help you, and if it would benefit whatever your goals are, come be a part of it.
We will definitely. I'll grab John. I will grab the wise. We'll figure this thing out one way or the other. So, well, thanks again.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much for being supportive. The poster being on the wall makes me feel good. I was excited to see that you had the T-shirt on, but then you had the poster back there too.
I would have also had the hat. I would have the hat, but it screws up the lighting for the podcast, so I did not wear the hat. I did wear the hat, actually, and the other shirts, because I have Friday the 13th Blood Law shirts too. When over here, right behind me, I live right above Six Flags, and they have Halloween for 2 months, and we go every other weekend, and I'm always wearing one of the horror shirts. So I'm walking around promoting the movies with the hats and the shirts and doing what I can. Last year we went to a Universal, and we're doing it at Universal Studios. So I try to promote it. I want people to see these projects too. So I'm happy to help market whatever's going on and take part and all that. So yes, thank you for.
This interview flew by. That was 2 hours. I have so much to talk to you guys about, and it's like we have to go now. But thank you guys so much for having me on Attack of the Spotlight, the greatest podcast on YouTube today.
That's right.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Kyle Pearson and John Horton are great people. We appreciate them very much, and you guys should too.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Would love to have you on. Bring your wife, bring Ari, bring Beatrice, bring Christian, whoever, and we can promote these. A year from now, when you've got everything else coming out at the same time, let's help you promote those as well, because we'd love to do it, and hopefully I can see you on set for Killer Pizza. Thank you again to Anthony Caimano. We appreciate your time. Good luck to you. All these projects, again, as I said, links to in the description. You can catch us video on YouTube, on Facebook, and the audio on most of your favorite podcast services. For John Horton, I'm Kyle Pearson. Thank you so much for tuning in to Attack of the Spotlight. Have a good night.